Welcome back to Cinema Cult. I'm Chris.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Honto.
And today we conclude our Denzel month with Inside Man from 2009. Is that correct?
No, you're 3 years off at 2006.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. 2006 is one of the best years in cinema history.
Did Mad Max come out in 2006?
No, that was 2015. We got No Country
Was
for
it
Old
really?
Men. No Country for Old Men. There Will Be Blood. A few other movies here and there, but yeah, 2006.
Departed.
Oh yeah, Departed is the biggest one, I think. And
I think Children of Men.
And yeah, I did not say Children of Men.
Yeah, good. It's a good year. 06 was a good year.
One of the best, and that will lead into our segue into our discussion of Inside Man because Children of Men also stars Clive Owen.
Oh.
And Denzel's
and
buddy.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. No kidding.
So we started off with Training Day, which was a high. And then we went to Ricochet, which was
even higher. Just way, it's like above the screen for me.
Gosh. Honestly, to bring it back up, the best way to describe how we covered his filmography is we did his big Oscar win with Training Day, him taking a really bad movie and doing the best that he can with it and like elevating it with Ricochet. And then we've got like him working with like one of his biggest collaborators, Spike Lee.
Even though they've only done like 3 movies, I think, together.
So that was the thing. So we were arguing like when you guys say like Tony Scott and Denzel, that's they work together. Like that's how I feel about Spike Lee and Denzel. I feel like that's their combo.
What's He Got Game, this
Mo Better Blues.
Oh, that's the one I was missing. Okay.
Yeah.
And Malcolm X.
And then Malcolm X. So but I mean, how many did he do with Tony Scott? I mean, I think he did
5.
Pretty similar. Was it 5?
Yeah, he did 5.
So there was Unstoppable,
Crimson Tide,
and then the time travel one is that
Deja Vu.
Did he do Equalizer? I don't know. That was
Antoine Fuqua.
Yeah.
We only listed 4 there. Sorry, what was it? It was Deja Vu, Unstoppable.
Out of Time.
No, not Out of Time. Man on Fire, Crimson Tide,
Deja Vu.
And why can't I think of what number 5 was?
It's
Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Okay. Yep.
There you go. There's your 5.
Okay. So right now we're doing Inside Man, and let's do our top of the hour discussion real quick. Well, actually, it's real quick before we go into this movie. Did anybody watch The Little Things?
I mentioned on the last episode, I think, that I had tried watching it. I made it like maybe 20 minutes into it.
You gave up or fell asleep?
I just gave up. It was going nowhere for me.
The payoff is worth it.
Okay.
I'm not saying like it's this amazing ending.
Yeah.
But the last 20 minutes, and I don't think it's a spoiler, but it went in a direction I didn't expect. And I was like, okay, that was totally worth it. Because I agree. It was just like this whole like
it's like a generic it's like your generic like murder mystery, procedural movie or whatever.
Yeah. And but it really picks up when what's his name comes in.
Leto or Jared Leto?
Jared Leto was awesome in it.
Okay.
And then the last 20 minutes, it was just out of left field. And I was like, okay, cool. So I'm not saying it's like this amazing movie, but it's worth the watch.
Cool.
So, and then other than what we did for the podcast, I watched Virtuosity. So,
you know what movie I started to watch, and I actually am going to finish it before the end of the month. I started watching Safe House, which I saw a long time ago. That movie I think is pretty legit and kind of
never
underrated.
Saw it.
It's Ryan Reynolds not being a jackass the entire movie. He's actually playing like a serious role and actually does like a lot of cool action scenes in it.
Isn't it his character from Just Friends?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Safe House, pretty cool. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but check it out.
Okay. Matt, did you watch anything?
Yeah, I watched, outside of what we watched for the show, I watched Glory, which I've never seen all the way through.
Glory's so good.
It's okay. It's okay.
That ending charge is phenomenal.
It's okay. I have problems with the movie that
we talked about it.
It kind of ruined it as I was watching it, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen that movie. It's an okay movie.
Now, is Matthew Broderick, does he play the role of Ferris in that movie?
Are you gonna pick movies that?
Yeah, he comes up at the end of the credits and he's like, "What are you guys still here for?" He's got that mustache. Like, what are you guys still doing here?
He's got his musket. What are you guys still doing?
Yeah. And then I just watched today. I watched Devil in a Blue Dress.
I've never seen that.
It was awesome.
Really?
It was really. It's been on my list forever, and I found it somewhere today. We do our final episode. Really, really cool film noir. And I did some digging into it and found out it's based off 15 some books about the same character that Denzel plays, which I'm going to crack into. Really excited to check those out. And then I found out there's a TV show in the works right now.
Oh,
and it's basically so it's about this African American PI during post World War II LA.
Okay.
So it was just, I don't know, it was just really kind of a really cool story. And I read up about it, and the reviews were even though the reviews are really high for this movie, it didn't do very well. And and this is the reason why, but it was it didn't do very well because it opened up the week after 7 came out. I was like, yeah. I was like, that's probably what killed it.
2 detective movies back to back. Yeah.
And one of them is 7. I mean, 7's
Did you know Denzel turned down 7?
Oh, really?
Yeah. I had it for trivia for last week, but I forgot to talk about it. The 2 movies he turned down that he regrets was 7 because he thought it was too brutal. Then he saw it and he totally regretted it. And then Michael Clayton he turned down as well.
Oh, wow. Michael Clayton is kind of off topic, but Michael Clayton's kind of it's like a Sunday movie, like a boring kind of movie, but it's also incredibly awesome at the same time.
I've never seen it.
It's a very, very, very slow movie, but there's some moments in it that are incredible, and there's a crazy monologue towards the end that's just one of the best, I feel like.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, but Devil in the Blue Dress, I highly, highly recommend it. Awesome movie. It's a bummer that it didn't do well in the theaters because I would have loved to have seen some sequels. And probably one of the coolest Denzel roles I've seen him in.
Does he get into his boxer shorts at some point, confronting the big bad at the end of the movie? Or?
Yeah, the bad guy happens to be a clown as well. So. I'm sorry, it was Ricochet 2. I watched Ricochet 2.
Who directed Mo Better Blues 2? Or 2? Is it Spike Lee that directed Mo Better Blues?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he watched Devil in a Blue Dress.
Oh my god! I'm so sorry.
Let me look it up. Hold on.
Oh man.
I recommend it. I think it was really cool. Carl Franklin directed it.
Okay.
He also directed At a Time, that also had Denzel in it.
Oh.
He also directed
Mo Better Blues
2.
Yeah.
No, 3.
One False Move. He did One False Move.
I don't know that.
And then it looks like he's also directed part of The Pacific, the second miniseries after Band of Brothers.
Okay.
The more serious of the war, even though they're both serious, but
yeah.
All right.
I'm just my computer almost fell over.
You good? Inside Man, 2006. So just to I'm going to give you some context or some pretext to his current Rotten Tomato scores to see where you can put this at. So Ricochet had a 72. Training Day had a 73. What do you think Inside Man has?
87.
Okay, Hanto, what do you give it?
79.
86.
Wow.
Is what we were looking for.
Hey,
yeah. So right. Hanto wins.
Huh?
Yeah. I didn't know why you were so excited about
I was wondering the same thing because you overshot.
We played Price is Right rules, man.
No, you just said it was an 86.
You said 87.
Yeah.
You went over.
Oh, we don't do Price is Right. That's stupid.
We've always done it. Right. Yeah, we've always done it.
That's so dumb.
Don't be bitter. All right.
Get better.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So if Honto, so I went over. If Honto was like 3%,
if I said
he would have won.
If I said 0%, I would have won.
Honto would have won.
Yeah, that's stupid.
I don't like this game. What was the budget?
It's bullshit.
You give him the easy ones. That's a Big Daddy reference.
Yeah, it is.
What was the budget for Inside Man? Matt, we'll start with you. Whenever you're ready, just
10 mil. 10 mil.
10 mil. Okay. Honto, what would you say Inside Man
seems low.
is?
I'll say like 50 million.
Okay. So Matt says 10. Honto says 50. The answer is 45. So Matt, you won.
You won. If you said $0, you would have won.
So now the rules are okay. All right.
Everyone's a winner on Cinema Cult Network.
How much did it make domestically? So it had a $45 million budget. How much did it make domestically? Honto, we'll start off with you.
100 million.
Okay. Matt?
120 mil.
88.
Damn.
We both
so
lost.
Honto wins just because he was closer, though.
What? What?
I feel like Bill Murray and Ghostbusters. It's just not your day.
A bunch of squiggly lines. I don't know, a bunch of squiggly lines.
So worldwide, it was released internationally. So we have made, what we got, 88 domestically. How much did it make worldwide? Matt, we'll start off with you.
200.
$200. Honto, what do you got?
No.
90 million.
What?
Okay. So Honto thinks that it only made. It's too late.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I made the same mistake last time.
Okay,
when you're playing against Chris,
150 million.
You're playing against Chris's rules, and they're nonsensical.
It's price is right. Worldwide, 186.
Nice. Oh,
so this was a hit for sure, and a much needed hit for Spike Lee because Spike Lee has a very interesting career because he comes out with some indie films. Do the Right Thing's huge. The 90s, they're kind of steady but not huge. Inside Man comes out huge. Then it's kind of steady. Black Klansman, huge. So like he has this very like.
I was gonna say because didn't he do like Miracle at St. Anna after this? And it wasn't like as big as
I remember
Inside
it
Man.
being a kind of a flop at the theaters.
Yeah, and then I want to say right before he did this, he did She Hate Me, right?
She Hate Me was mid 2000s, so yeah.
Yeah. So it's like he does a lot of like I feel like he does the kind of Scorsese thing as far as like projects for himself and then projects for like the studios.
Yeah.
So
100%. Yeah.
Like I feel like I kind of feel like Black Klansman was like one that was for like the studios, and then he just recently did one for Netflix last year, The Five Bloods.
Yeah.
Which I feel like more of like his kind of project. I don't know what I'm saying, but
I agree with you. Yeah.
Like there's certain like he'll do indie stuff and then he'll do non-indie stuff. Like the Sweet Blood of Jesus? Did you guys see that?
I did not, but isn't that it's a remake?
Of
horror movie.
Yeah, of
Ganja and Hess.
Ganja and Hess. And it was like I want to say it was crowdsourced as far as like, but it was like what do you like when you call like when they did those like indie fund me kind of thing,
like GoFundMe, Kickstarter or whatever.
Like the indie projects that people can go like can fund. Like that's one of them that he did that way. So it's like a really hardcore like indie movie in a way.
Okay. I gotcha. Yeah, and I feel like even though it wasn't a hit, I feel like Old Boy could have been like a studio one, and he was.
Yes, Old Boy. That's what I mean. An Old Boy is like a studio one.
Old Boy had been in development for a while at that point because I think even Steven Spielberg was attached to direct with Will Smith starring in it, and then they both dropped, and eventually it went to Spike Lee, and that movie is not good.
Really?
It's okay. Yeah, it's just.
I just think that it's just overshadowed by the fact that the original is incredible. Like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can't really compete against it.
No, you're right. So
you know what? I take it back. Okay. It might have been Chirac that was
I was gonna say I think Chirac was the one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, where it was like produced by fans.
Yeah.
Okay. I follow you. So Honto, Inside Man, take us to the cast and crew.
Directed by Spike Lee, previous episode, Do the Right Thing. Previous collabs with Denzel, Malcolm X, He Got Game, Mo Better Blues. In this.
There you go.
It's good. Keep going.
Yeah. Denzel Washington as Detective Keith Frazier. Previous episodes, the last 2 episodes. Clive Owen as Dalton Russell. I know him from Born Identity, as I think that's where he got his start from. Sin City is a big one, and one that was kind of has some cool scenes, but not as good as it.
Shoot 'em up.
No, I was gonna say the International.
I haven't seen that.
It was like a crime where he plays like an Interpol agent trying to track some people down. It has Naomi Watts. There's a cool shootout scene in the Guggenheim Museum, and it's like the big museum that has like kind of like it's like a spiral staircase that wraps around the entire building basically. But it's just not, I don't know, wasn't really that good. But
fun fact about Clive Owen, I remember reading this like decades ago, but he was in an interview, and I guess he was a big Bowie fan back in the 80s, 70s and 80s. And every time Bowie would come out with a new look, Clive Owen would mimic that look.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so imagine Clive Owen dressed up as, insert Bowie look here, like as far as
the Goblin King, the Goblin King from Labyrinth.
I think the best thing,
the big hair.
The best thing I think I've seen him in was Closer. And I think it's a movie nobody really talks about.
I like Closer.
Closer is a really good movie. Solid cast, because it's Clive Owen, Jude Law, Natalie Portman, and Julia Roberts.
Yeah, and I think for me, I think my favorite, we mentioned it earlier, but Children of Men, I think that movie is
solid.
Incredible movie.
Agreed.
Yeah, he's an actor I'm waiting to pop up in the Marvel universe somewhere.
Yeah, cool. I could see him. I could see him popping up.
You know what I mean?
Feel like he's not really used much. The last movie I saw him in was the Ang Lee movie Gemini Man. And
was he in that?
Yeah, it's not good. Not good.
Yeah.
But that was the last time I saw him, and I haven't really looked into what his like future projects are, but I hope he keeps popping up and stuff because he's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Continuing the cast, got Jodie Foster as Madeline White. Know her best from Taxi Driver and Silence of the Lambs, which I just rewatched in October. The movie is just one of the best, and
it's perfect.
I hadn't seen it in years, and I was just like, wow! I was just wowed by like how incredible it is.
I bought it on a whim. I hadn't seen it since I was like 15, and I was like, I remember this movie being okay.
Yeah, like the vague memories of the infamous scenes in that movie, but when you see it as a whole, it's like
it was
Yeah,
actually, speaking of Jodie Foster, did you guys ever see Panic Room?
Yeah.
Is it good?
Saw in theaters. I haven't seen it since theaters, but it's all right.
Yeah. Okay. I thought about the other day. It's the only
Fincher,
David Fincher movie I really haven't seen. So
it's got basically the same look as Fight Club, like that grungy, like green look to it.
Okay,
but it's all set in the house pretty much. But I remember being all right.
Okay.
I think it's worth a watch. Worth a watch for sure.
Yeah. Fincher's one of those guys that you just got to check out all of his stuff, I think.
Sure.
And don't overlook the other one. But Christopher Plummer as Arthur Case, RIP actually at the beginning of this month. Know him best from Sound of Music.
Yeah.
And previous episode, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. And then
the second time he worked with Spike Lee.
Is it?
They worked together in Malcolm X.
Oh, I've never seen Malcolm X. I probably should. But yeah, because Denzel got nominated for Best Actor in that movie, but I think lost, right? Because
I don't think he won for it. Yeah, he's only won for Training Day,
and he got supporting for Glory.
Oh, did he? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, cool. Okay.
And then got Willem Dafoe as Captain John Darius. Previous episode, Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, and lots of other Wes Anderson movies.
And Antichrist.
Antichrist, yeah, that is a tough watch. It's a very, very, very tough watch.
I didn't get to see it, but there was supposed to be a Super Bowl commercial where his character from Antichrist comes back. Like he's in the commercial. Sorry, his character from. I didn't get to see it though.
Yeah, I totally forgot about it.
I don't know why you're both just quiet, staring at me like,
"Are you kidding me?"
Freaking kidding.
I don't even know what they would do as a Super Bowl commercial because
I don't know either. I didn't get to see it.
They really put that character through a lot in that movie.
Fun trivia about him and Spike Lee. I guess they both attended a play of Julius Caesar where Denzel Washington was performing in it before this movie. And they were both standing at the urinals at the exact same time during intermission. And Spike Lee was like, he said to William Dafoe, he's like, we should work together. And William Dafoe was like, yeah, we should. And then the next movie they made was Inside Man.
That's so cool. What a cool way to...
That's cool.
Next time I'm at a urinal with somebody, I'm going to be like, we should work together.
Okay. Continuing cast, we got Chiwetel Ejiofor as Detective Bill Mitchell, best known from 12 Years a Slave. I first saw him in Serenity, which is an awesome movie. Continuation of Firefly. Appeared in Marvel's Doctor Strange, and he'll be reprising that role in the next movie, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which is the Sam Raimi MCU movie.
He was just in another Spike Lee too. He was in She Hate Me.
Okay, I haven't seen that one.
He was in Love Actually, which we talked about a few months ago.
I also have not seen that one.
Oh, you know,
where is it? Who is he in She Hate Me?
I think he's the security guard. Do you remember that whole scene with?
I haven't seen that movie since it came out, and I remember liking it. I just haven't.
I think he's
in it.
He's in it. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's pretty much all I have. I had listed the 3 supporting actors that assist Clive Owen, the people that play Steve-O. There's Kim Director who plays Stevie. I know her from I always recognize her because she was in Blair Witch Project 2, Book of Shadows. And then you got James Ransone as Steve-O, Sinister 1 and 2, season 2 of Wire, which he's awesome in. And
wait, he was in the first Sinister?
He's in both of them. He's the deputy, what's his name? Yeah, I think it's literally deputy what's his name in the first one.
I literally just watched it. So yeah, okay.
And he's basically the star of the sequel, Sinister 2.
Okay. Is the sequel any good?
It's all right. There's some cool, like the videotapes or the film reels that they watch.
Yeah.
There's some crazier ones in
really? Do you like the first one?
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I think
it's good too. Yeah.
A few years ago, they actually did a screening at the downtown, and we got to watch it with like a crowd of people, and it was fun watch.
That's awesome. Okay, cool.
But yeah, season 2 of The Wire, which he's awesome on. I don't know if you guys have seen The Wire. Great show.
That's on my list to watch. Everyone tells me to watch it, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
It's one of those shows where it's like, from episode 1, they really just throw you into the story of The Wire. Yeah. You don't know who they are, who the character names are. That you just got to like learn it as you watch it. But once you get the rhythm of the show, it's really, really good. Okay. Especially because every season it follows like the same characters here and there, but they focus on different portions of Baltimore.
That's right.
But the story culminates into the big season arc, basically. But yeah, we know him because we did a previous episode in Chapter 2. He plays Eddie Kazbrak.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Yep.
Okay.
Wow. So, I had no clue that was him.
Yeah. So.
Oh, okay.
That's all I have for cast and crew.
Who? Not to put you on the spot, who wrote this? I don't think it was Spike Lee.
It was not. It was Russell Gurwitz, and he really only had one other feature film, which is Righteous Kill, which is a Robert De Niro and Al Pacino vehicle, I think, which was a box office flop.
It was, yeah. So, okay. Well, let's go through Inside Man. I feel like Inside Man is going to be hard to talk about because it's so like back and forth, and this happens, this happens. It's a lot. So I don't want to go like scene by scene.
Yeah, especially the first 20 minutes, like, is very back and forth on like just different, just kind of getting you set up for just different things that's going to happen in the movie, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much. So like when we talk about it, I'll set the scene. And if you want to interject, if you find something really cool about that scene. So basically it starts off with, I was going to say Colin Farrell. It starts off with Clive Owen, and he's got this team that's robbing this bank. I will say, just from the get-go, this movie looks so good.
Yeah, it's incredibly shot. It's really, really good looking.
Yeah. And I don't think there's any wasted scenes in this movie. Like, I don't feel like a scene happens, I'm like, all right, you could have cut this out. Like, I feel like the pace is like on point.
Every scene that they introduce like plays a role somewhere down. It's almost like, I mean, he tells you kind of like in the opening monologue, he says, basically that's the who, that's the where, that's the what. It's like, pay attention, because every detail, and it's almost like every scene matters because they're trying to piece together like what's actually going on in this bank heist, which is awesome.
Yeah. Well, it's just even like with how like with the heist ending, there's still like 45 minutes to the movie or something like that.
I was surprised. Like when they, after the cops roll in and everything, I was like, oh my God, there's still like 35 minutes left in this movie.
Which is cool because it's like, you're right. The pacing is really great in this movie for essentially a Dog Day Afternoon kind of like movie.
That's why Spike Lee wanted to do this. He did it, from what I read, he did it as kind of a tribute to one of his favorite movies, which is Dog Day Afternoon.
And coincidentally, and I don't know if you have this as your trivia, but there's two actors that appeared in Dog Day Afternoon that are also in this movie.
Okay.
One of them is the she's the elderly lady that like refuses to undress. She plays a hostage in Dog Day Afternoon. And then there's a pizza delivery boy in Dog Day Afternoon that delivers like the pizzas to the hostages and to like Al Pacino. He plays the cop that delivers the pizzas to Clive Owen and his crew.
That's cool. That's really cool. Okay.
Yeah,
here's trivia on top of your trivia. The pizzas in this movie are actually Sal's Pizzeria from Do the Right Thing.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I didn't either. I read about it afterwards. I was like, that's really cool.
That's awesome. That's incredible.
It's really neat. But basically, so Clive Owen and his like group is robbing this bank, and it's a pretty full bank at this point too.
Yeah.
And we're introduced to like a bunch of characters that are just kind of like side characters, but it's enough detail that like they're characters.
Yes, I like this. Yeah.
So the bank robbery happens. Meanwhile, we cut to Denzel, who's working with his partner, and I guess Denzel's in trouble. Is that the hint? Is like they got in trouble for something?
I guess they he did a case where there's something to do with like missing money. Okay. And his name was attached to the case and nobody knows what happened to the missing money.
That's right.
And so he's kind of like under the radar. Like, I don't know if like they're considering him have stolen it or like
internal affairs or something. Or like tracking him down.
Like IA's like checking him out.
Okay.
Sure. And man, so many characters pop up, but you have like Denzel, who's going to work the negotiations. That's his job against Clive Owen. And then you have Christopher Plummer, who owns the bank.
Yeah, he owns the bank. He's like, he basically had founded the bank and everything. I think back in like the 50s or something.
Yeah.
So he's been, it's been around for a while now.
And to reduce the majority of his scenes, he basically takes one of his workers, who's Jodie Foster, and says, go help with the negotiations. Like, I have something in that bank I need to protect. Go.
His reaction is, I was like laughing because you kind of, I mean, granted, you don't really know it until the end of what's going on, but you know something's bad because the secretary walks in and says, there's a robbery at one of your banks. He's like, oh no, that's terrible. And she said, it's at this location. He's like, Mother of God. It's kind of awesome, especially when you find out what's going on. You're like, he's in deep shit right now.
Yeah. And so he sends Jodie Foster to like help the negotiations. Jodie Foster is awesome in this movie. Her character is garbage.
Oh, like garbage.
You hate her.
Yeah.
But I've never really seen her in anything like this before. So every time she was on screen, I was totally like intrigued by her character.
Especially when
she does really good.
Oh, go ahead.
What exactly does she do?
Is she like a fixer? Is she like a fixer for like different? She helps basically people get out of trouble. Essentially,
something like that. I think. I don't know. I think they keep it very vague, but at the same time, I'm like, and now I'm questioning it after watching the movie. I'm like, what was her job? What was she supposed to do?
Right.
Yeah, she's basically a fixer, quote unquote, to basically try to get like diffuse the situation and protect whatever gets stolen from that bank.
Okay.
So to make a connection to what we were talking about earlier, Michael Clayton's a fixer, and that's basically what the movie's all about. It's about him trying to fix a situation.
Okay.
That somebody got into some deep shit, and it's just fallen him and that kind of stuff. But yeah, they're basically the same kind of character, essentially. High-profile clients, getting them out of trouble, basically.
Okay. So he's basically playing his character, George Clooney, from Roseanne.
Is he a fixer in that movie? He's like a plumber. He's trying
to fix the family.
Oh yeah, yeah. They keep yelling keep playing poker and yelling at each other in the opening credits.
Okay, so basically the movie is just like a layout of events and what's going on. And like I said, I don't want to go through every single detail because there's a lot of details in this movie.
Yeah, it keeps intercutting. You got your heist, and you got the main plot with the heist and everything, but every once in a while it cuts to a flash forward where Denzel and Chiwetel Ejiofor are they're interviewing the hostages, and it's definitely shortly after the heist because everyone's complaining and all that stuff.
And the storytelling is so good here. I think this is prime Spike Lee here and Denzel. But when Denzel is interviewing these people after the fact, Denzel's charm just pours out. There's so many scenes when he interviews the older lady. And he's joking around with them, they're laughing back and forth, and he asks somebody else. He's like, "Did you rob the bank?" And they're just everything is just very.
No, really, did you rob the bank?
Did you rob the bank? Yeah, it's really good.
Or doesn't he have the line with the old lady where he's like, "You can go." No, you have to stay.
No, sit down.
Go. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know, these scenes are really good because you have so much tension that these intertwined scenes break the tension, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, I guess a lot of these were improv.
Are they really?
Yeah, a lot of them were improv.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah,
I wouldn't guess.
So that's kind of cool. I think when you mean his charm coming out, it's like
there you go. Just kind
of, it's Denzel. Yeah.
I had made the note that in the beginning it seems like they're super confident that they can end the situation fast, because when they come to the crime scene or the heist, basically they're talking to Willem Dafoe's character and they're telling him what to do and everything, and obviously it's not a short situation because it ends up getting kind of out of control by the end. But I like the parallel where it's they come into the scene or to the crime scene basically, and they're very confident, and then flash forward and they're clearly annoyed that they've gotten away with it, or they can't figure out who was a part of the heist or not.
Yeah,
which is great
for sure. And even an awesome scene in the movie, which we're still kind of on the same timeline, is when I'm trying to think how they do it. They start hearing someone talking a different language.
Yeah.
And they have to get the translator. And that whole scene, that 15 minutes of what are they speaking in? And then you get the construction worker. Yeah, the construction worker has to get his wife. And his wife comes down with the parking tickets. That whole scene is so this. I mean, I know this movie's only 14 or 15 years old, but this feels like an old school classic.
Oh yeah.
Heist movie. It's really well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, the heist is very clever in this movie.
Oh, it's awesome. It's great. It's great.
To the point where it's I really don't there's not a moment where I don't buy what's on screen, where I'm wow, that's very, very smart.
No, yeah, with the heist, it's cool because they all use monikers that are similar, Stevie, Steve-O, and they keep doing a thing where they keep rotating hostages from one room to another, getting them mixed around and stuff, and sometimes even the other heist members or criminals, they will participate by being hostages themselves, which is a really cool way to disorganize everyone's thoughts.
Yeah.
Especially to the point where I think it's James Ransone. He is kind of stirring the pot a little bit by saying oh, these guys aren't going to do anything, blah, blah, blah. And then Clive Owen busts in, drags them away from everybody, and then begins to beat the hell out of them. And it's all to create this illusion that no one will be able to tell who the other people participants were in this heist.
It's genius. Even when they're making them change, you're what's going on? And then once it reveals when it shows when they're going to like the separate rooms and they're putting people in the rooms, and then the one girl who's like in on it starts screaming, and then she puts on her mask and everything. You're like, oh man, like there is a thought to this, like everything they're doing. It's really clever.
Right.
Even I think a memorable scene is when they're collecting everybody's cell phones.
Oh yeah, this guy.
And the one guy, I left my phone at home.
Or bank manager, Peter Hammond.
And it's cool because like the tension is so good because they're like flipping through every phone to find this Peter guy, and then all of a sudden Kanye comes on.
And something about the sound design too of the phones, like pulling them out and like pressing the buttons of the phone and like throwing it on the ground. Something about the sound design of that like really just makes it even more intense for some reason.
I agree. Yeah. I'll give you that. Yeah,
I think showing the people's faces as well as they're all just kind of waiting, like
because they know,
and
he's
gonna find. Yeah, you know what's
about to happen.
But I tell you what, though, like we can talk about this, but as far as like the movie feeling dated because of the technology, and
I know what you're gonna get at.
Okay,
go ahead.
It's weird because it's flip phones and flip phones like those ones we had in the early 2000s,
like Nokia or like Razr, Motorola Razr phones.
Yeah, you know? But they were only around for like a small chunk of years, and we've had smartphones now for like almost like
I think like 2007 or 2008.
I say around that time,
So phones have basically looked like this for like a longer amount of time than we had flip phones. So anytime I see the movies in these early 2000s and they're taking out these like Nokia flip phones, like Departed,
2008, yeah.
Well, speaking of
sliding it, and they're like,
imagine in the scene if it was like 1990s and they had the big like Zach Morris phones and he's just going through the bag, and pressing like.
Yeah,
and then he finds a premium one, which is like one of those suitcase phones.
He's got like 13 garbage bags full of phones. Put your phones in here. Well, speaking of feeling dated, I know how I feel on this, but the scene, well, I'll set it up. Clive Owen is in a bank vault with one of the kids who's held captive as well.
Oh, yeah.
And the kid has like a mini like PSP, like portable gaming device.
Yeah.
And Clive Owen's like, what do you got there? And he takes the game from him, 3D. And he takes the portable device and starts playing it. And it like pops up full screen. Mm-hmm. Does this seem dated to you?
Really?
At times, yeah. What got me with this scene was why isn't the kid with the rest of the hostages?
Yeah.
Like, why is this kid
that's a good
sitting?
point.
That's what got me. I was like, why is this kid just sitting in the vault by himself? And they're like,
well, I think they bring him there because he's like, I'll bring you back to your dad. Just finish your food, you know?
Yeah, but why? I know. I guess.
It's weird. It's weird. I think
that's a really good way. Yeah.
It's just a nice way to have Clive Owen do a scene with this kid and play a GTA knockoff, basically.
Pretty much. So as the story progresses, Denzel decides that he's going to go into the bank and he's going to talk to Clive Owen. And I hated this scene. I haven't seen this movie in years. I hated the scene when I watched it, but the aftermath was so good.
I think I might know what you're talking about.
Well, because like Denzel goes in and he's talking to him. Well, I think at this point, Jodie Foster's already come in.
She's already attempted, or like had a one-on-one with Clive Owen, basically.
Yeah, which we need to talk about. But
okay, go ahead.
No, let's get to your scene first, and then we'll talk about the whole Nazi back plot.
Well, yeah. So Jodie Foster's already come in, and now Denzel decides at this point that he wants to go in. And he's talking to Clive, and they're having like this banter back and forth. It's really going nowhere. And then all of a sudden, Denzel attacks Clive.
Oh, yeah.
They roll down the steps, and then Denzel gets taken out. And as I watched it, I said out loud, I was like, what a stupid move on his character. And then it cuts to Denzel being like, he's not going to hurt anybody. He's like, I tried to get him to kill me. He wouldn't do anything. Like, and it's such a cool, like,
he
knew what he was doing. Yeah.
And I thought you were gonna talk about the scene where he takes Clive. He's like, I got to check on the hostages, you know, and Clive Owen takes him down to the first room, and it's that like the increasing music every time they go from room to room, and it's like you think it's over, and then it goes into another room. It's like, and it's like, and then we have the room where the people weren't being nice or whatever. And
yeah.
You know, I just love the progression of the music where it's like,
that's a pretty good point. Yeah.
Door open, you know, it keeps basically increasing, which is hilarious.
Not to like, I know that's what you weren't saying, but like even like the music's really solid in this.
Yeah, I like the music a lot. Yeah.
Do we know who the composer is? I don't know if it was like a big name
It was
that we actually knew, but
Matthew Libatique.
Okay.
I'm trying to look at what he did.
He's done stuff with Spike before, right?
Has he?
Miracle
I don't know.
at St. Anna. He did Black Swan. Yeah, he's got a decent amount. Chirac, Straight Outta Compton. Trying to think. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. I was looking at the cinematographer. Terrence Blanchard is the composer, and I think he did Black Klansman.
Yeah, I thought he did Black Klansman.
Okay,
I'll get back to you on that one.
No, you're good. I did want to ask earlier on, what do we think of a bald Denzel in this?
Oh, he is bald, isn't he?
Because he is. I don't think I've ever seen him bald before.
Is he?
Yeah,
he is wearing that hat for almost the entire movie.
I mean, he's got like a 5 o'clock shadow on his head.
But I feel like he has like an interchangeable look. Like he always like goes back and forth between bald and has hair. Bald has hair.
I don't know when I've seen him and then he's bald.
I don't know either. I'm just saying that. But like, I guess I just didn't pick up on that.
I will say he looks really cool with the hat on too. Those were things I wrote down in my notes. Is it a fedora?
Yeah.
I don't think it's.
Yeah, it's like a fedora. Yeah, it's like a fedora.
Like Indiana Jones?
Kind of, yeah.
I feel like it's more like the hat.
Also, I'm looking at a screenshot of Denzel right now. He's definitely got like a buzz going on. It's not straight bald.
I know. I said he's got like a 5 o'clock shadow on his head.
Yeah, 5 o'clock shadow.
Like he's usually bald, but he didn't shave that day.
Yeah. It's like less than 24 hours old.
Yeah, cool. Plot.
Man, great questions.
Keep going.
Keep the conversation going.
All right,
so let's talk about the Nazi backplot on this.
Go for it.
So at one point, Jodie Foster comes in. She talks Denzel into letting her into the bank, and if he lets her into the bank, he will be promoted to first detective, which he wants to get to. So he's like, "Fine, we'll let you in." He lets her into the bank, and Clive Owen shows off just a hint at what he pulled out of the safety deposit box. Was it 392 or 393?
Yeah, 392.
And 392. And it's documentation of Christopher Plummer's character having worked with Nazis during World War II to acquire his wealth. Mm-hmm. What's your guys' thoughts on this as far as the backstory? As like the overarching, like the secret like plot here.
Well, because Clive Owen's whole agenda for like the bank robbery is to like showcase what he's done, right? I mean, is that kind of part of what he's doing?
I thought it was on it. Well, at the end, he says it's just for the diamonds, and he's holding on to this.
But for some reason, I thought it was also to kind of like also let everyone know that this dude sucks.
Yeah, I think it was kind of.
I don't
both,
know.
But...
I think the one thing I had a question with at the end of this movie was that why the hell is Christopher Plummer still keeping on to this documentation?
Right.
Unless it was for like, because I mean, if it's something that like is really gonna burn you, you know what I mean? Like, especially pictures of you with Nazis during World War II. Yeah. Like, why would you not get rid of that?
Right.
Or just documentation in general. But then I guess like I think the reason why Christopher Plummer holds on to it is to basically remind himself where his roots came from. And because he tries to do, like, he mentions that he does humanitarian work and he does all this other stuff.
But he does admit that like he's trying to redeem himself for the atrocious crimes that he's done, basically. Is
that how you took it? Okay.
Well, he specifically says I'm still trying to pay my debt, basically, because my soul is cursed.
But I couldn't tell if he was being like legit about it. Or he's like, I'm still trying to make up for it, like.
So this is basically him holding on to a bunch of love letters from a high school sweetheart.
Oh God.
that he doesn't date anymore, and he's like, but I need to hold on to these letters because it reminds me of another time.
I guess, yeah.
I mean, other than that, like, if it's not that, then it's really stupid that he has this stuff. That he just still.
Is holding. Yeah, it's the same concept of like Dexter, the serial killer, holding on to his like tokens of whatever.
That's
maybe
good way to put it.
Maybe he's just a monster and he has to hold on to it because it's like a trophy of his wealth, basically.
Okay,
you know?
that's a good way to put it.
That's another way of putting it. Yeah.
Okay. Now,
and that's Inside Man.
Well, after the scene that he goes in and fights Clive Owen takes a hostage upstairs and shoots him.
This is some great squib work here.
It is really good squib work, yeah. And as soon as this happens, Denzel gets like determined, and
this shot is awesome.
It's what Spike Lee used to use this a lot in his movies.
Yeah.
He uses a lot in Jungle Fever, but I don't know what
the dolly cart.
And I don't know what his main purpose is for it. Like every time I've seen it in the movie, he uses it for like deep thought or conversation.
I say it's like I think you're about to say just now, but like a sign of determination.
Yeah,
of, like, the character.
In this, I feel like to the outsider, it might look a little goofy because I
remember I thought it was super goofy when I saw this for the first time. But
really, yeah,
when I watched it this time, I was like, that shot is awesome.
It's a really cool shot. Yeah.
I remember seeing this in theaters, and a couple of guys next to me started laughing when this shot happened.
Shut up!
I'm out of here. But they thought it was goofy, and it doesn't. It's a cool shot.
It's just the way he looks while like everyone's kind of fast moving in the background. He just looks serious as he's like obviously not walking, and he's like zooming forward. So it's really funny looking, especially since they haven't done it earlier at all in this movie. But I think as a whole, when it takes you out of the movie like that, I think it works pretty damn well.
Well, and I think the reason why it feels like kind of out of the ordinary in this is that like Spike Lee's a very stylized director. He puts a lot of this kind of stuff in his own movies. And I would say like Inside Man is like definitely his movie, but it's definitely one of his less stylized movies for sure.
This is definitely like a very studio, I feel like.
Yes. And this is like the one shot that like set like that's like his kind of like
signature.
One signature. Yeah.
So Denzel ends up like charging the bank, and then they decide like, all right, we need to do something. We can't just sit here any longer. So there's this really cool scene where they're like, well, if we go in this way, this could happen.
Oh, this is cool too.
Yeah. So it's like they're playing out their thoughts. Like you're watching their thoughts live, which is really cool the way this is done. I absolutely love this.
I remember because I haven't seen this movie in years, but I remember when I watched this last night, it took me out of it. I was like, wow, they just killed a lot of people. And I don't remember anybody dying in this movie.
Yeah.
But all this different scenarios of like, if we do this, this could happen. And it's like really cool how they, instead of just talking about it, they basically play it out as if it were happening. And it's cool to see it unfold like on screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree. And then they end up deciding that they're going to go charge in. And before they charge in, I want to bring this up because this was somebody on the cast of Creed didn't bring up. But
I think I know what you're about to talk about because I have it in my notes.
Well, it was one of the guys that works with William Dafoe. That's one of the cops.
Daryl Mitchell?
The wheelchair.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about? Yeah.
I think so.
So there was a guy, he was in Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, he's the pilot, the kid pilot.
Yeah, and he was on the show Ed.
Oh, okay.
And got into a motorcycle accident. Now he's in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And he's actually in the wheelchair in this.
Oh, I didn't realize that happened. Really? I didn't realize that happened before this movie. Yeah, I knew it had happened, but I didn't realize.
Yeah, I didn't. I can't remember what else he's been in. I feel like he's had a pretty decent resume.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was just thinking about him. That just popped up in my head. But before they go charge the bank, all the hostages end up getting released, and there's this big chaos. And then what they end up doing is, I feel like this is what would happen in real life, is they take the hostages and they take pictures of each one, they make them state their name, and they put them on a bus because like they have no idea who's
documenting everybody. I feel like that's violating somebody's rights.
100%. But I feel like this is what they do because they don't know. Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
So they charge in
chaos of this too. I love like just the chaos.
Oh, kind of I mean, after the whole the part where they play out the different scenarios, they basically settle on using rubber bullets and shooting them in the head. And everyone's like, okay, yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
And they end up doing that, and you're just like horrified that they're just shooting everybody as they come out of the after they come out of the bank, basically.
So is that what they end up doing? Is going in and shooting people? Because it's hard for me. I can't remember.
The people come out because they when they say what they're gonna do, Denzel's like, "We got to go in now." And then Clive Owen, because they have like the listening devices, they realize
that's right.
Like, we're gonna go in, and Clive Owen's like, "Shit!" And then that's when they throw the smoke bombs or the smoke grenades, and then like tell everyone to basically run out. And then they end up after everyone is clear, they run into the bank and find out nobody else is there.
Yeah, and it's pretty much this big empty bank, and they found like the squib for when the hostage was killed, and like they have nothing. They absolutely have nothing.
I love this because it's like they find like all the clothes. They find that the guns weren't even real; they're all plastic guns. They find the squib in the bathroom, and it just keeps like developing as far as like
we got duped so hard on this.
Yeah, we've got nothing. Yeah, dude, I'll tell you what. Like after watching this, Denzel Washington is like his character is completely like aloof this entire movie.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And like I don't really think he ever really figures anything out. I think he kind of has ideas about what's going on.
I said, if anything, he finds out about Christopher Plummer at the end.
Kind of.
Yeah. Well, he tells the Department of like basically war crimes that this this dude is
but he's still it's like he still doesn't know though. I feel like he doesn't fully know. Because he goes to Christopher Plummer and he calls him out. But he's like, there's something in that box. I'm going to find out what's in the box. And he finds the ring. And then he goes to the mayor and he's like, I don't know, contact war crimes. And it's like, because I guess how old the ring is. So he still kind of doesn't know. And then even like when he gets like everything that happens to him, it's like he's always like the last person to find out, you know?
I mean,
he's kind of like the Jack Burton of this movie. Like he thinks he's like the hero, but he's not really like doing anything in the movie.
Everything's by accident.
Kind of. Yeah,
like he kind of falls right into Clive Owen's plan as far as like.
Well, even to the point where it's like, oh, we're going to get the drop on them. We're going to deliver those pizzas with some listening devices, even though Clive Owen had delivered a listening device previously when they sent the guy out with the.
Which you don't even think about, which is such a cool thing.
That's cool. Yeah. That's really cool.
Well, going back to when he goes to the mayor at the end with the ring, I remember this getting a really good laugh at the theaters. But as he walks into the dining area,
I wrote this down.
The maitre d' is like, "Sir, can I have your hat?" He's like, "No, get your own." And he keeps walking, and it's such like a quick like.
I love it. It's just like
what's good about it is it's very unexpected. Like you don't expect humor at this point, and I feel like that's when humor really lands like that. But yeah, this movie, not to like wrap it up so soon, but he goes to the mayor, and then Jodie Foster ends up talking to Chris Plummer, and their whole exchange right here at the end is very like, I mean, it's dark because she's like, she knows what he's done, and he's kind of like, well, I got to make up for it. And then she has an awesome one-liner about, I have to go find an apartment for Osama bin Laden, and she's like, and he's using you as a reference, and you can tell this like pisses him off. And I don't know. And that's the thing. This movie ends so strangely because there's no real resolution, I feel like.
It's weird because it's like and that's what I mean. Like I feel like Denzel Washington doesn't really solve anything at the end. He kind of like he becomes first detective like by making that deal. And then they help him. I want to say there was a scene with him and Jodie Foster at the end. And I want to say they pay off with all that money that he was supposed to have like lost. Like I want to say Jodie Foster pays they figure it out because all of a sudden they come up to him at the end. They're like, "Hey, that missing money, we found it." And then he goes to talk to Jodie Foster, and it's like kind of hinted at that like they fixed it for him.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Because when he talks to his boss at the end, Denzel, he's like, all that money showed up. He's like, want to know where it came from? Denzel's like, nope.
Yeah.
He's like, because he had nothing to do with it in the first place, and just whatever.
Yeah, I feel like he's kind of like he's along for the ride the entire time, and just kind of like, okay, he's just kind of like he's kind of like By the end of the movie, he finds that diamond in his pocket. He's just
that's what I was gonna say.
Right.
He's so along for the ride that he bumps into Clive Owen, doesn't know it's Clive Owen, and at the end, he's with his girlfriend, and he reaches in his pocket and he's like, "Oh, a diamond," and
he does a total like, oh, go ahead.
And then like he's just like, "Huh." And you're like, yeah, that's like the end of the movie.
I was gonna say he totally does like he finds the ring and totally does a look at the camera and then it's like wink and it's like a total like Looney Tunes like see y'all folks, you know, like
the diamond's like wink.
Yeah.
But it ends cool because it's very noirish at the end.
Yeah.
Because like his girlfriend is lying on the bed and she's talking to him and like the music kicks in and he's like so into this diamond. And it like fades to black. It's a really cool noir ending. Oh, speaking of the ending as well, something you completely forget about is that her brother is staying with him.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And when it happened, I didn't know who it was because like he opened his apartment door and there's this guy like passed out, and he's got like food or drinks in his hand. And I was like, "Where is he at?" I was like, "What's happening now?" I was like, "Oh, he's at his apartment," because he brought that up in the very beginning of the movie.
And then for a second, you question like, "Is that supposed to be Denzel's son?" That's a full-grown adult. No, but then like one of the things that I didn't notice the first time I watched it, I noticed this time, the diamond dealer that they talk to.
There's people that
is in on the heist.
Yeah, there's multiple people that are in on the heist, other than the Clive Owen and the three other people. Yeah, the diamond and then Vikram, who's the bank teller, right?
Is he?
I thought he was for some reason.
I can't remember.
Okay, I don't know. I just remember seeing the diamond dealer at the end. In the car.
He's in the car. Yeah.
But like
I even meant to bring. Oh, good.
So, but I was saying Denzel talks to him earlier about buying a diamond for a wedding ring.
Yeah.
And at the end, he gets a diamond, and I'm surprised there's no like final quote in the movie where it's just like, "Hey, can I ask you a question?" You know, to his girlfriend. Like now that he has the diamond or something like that. I guess it's more hinted at he's got the diamond and he's gonna.
I think he's so flabbergasted of how he got the diamond. I think it's like you're watching everything come into his head of like, that was him. He was in the bank. He said he was in like, I feel like you're watching the last moments of Denzel be like,
yeah, I feel
putting it together.
I feel like too, you have to act for the camera for this. Cause if this happened to me and I had to look back on it, I'd probably look really stupid. And I'm like, for like 20 minutes at my dresser, like just like daydreaming, and I'm like, like, I wouldn't sit there and look at it like, man, that's great. Like I would be that. I probably have a really stupid look on my face as I'm trying to remember where it came from.
Where did this diamond come from?
That reminds me, this is totally off topic, but there was a video online of this guy who was like, yeah, this is what everything's going to be like when we're not wearing masks anymore. And he was reading a book and he's like, and he was like in a grocery store and he's like,
oh my,
he's like making these, and he's right, because we're so used to wearing masks and like you can make whatever face you want because no one's looking, but we're gonna get so used to that we're gonna forget.
God.
You have to link that now in the YouTube video.
I will. But one thing we didn't even talk about, I kind of rushed at the end, was that you find out that Clive Owen has built a wall inside like the stock room and has been living behind the wall for
like
the past week. Yeah. And that's how he got to take everything they grabbed and got out, which is so genius. Like it's such
great because they keep like cutting to parts where the other people are like working on something in that room, but you don't really know what. And even to the point where they dig that hole, and I think James Ryan says like, that's a good shitting hole.
Yeah.
And you don't realize like, oh, it's legitimately just the whole word.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
a really cool, it's a really cool like first time watch, and when you don't know what's going on and how it's gonna like how it develops. But like I really enjoyed it watching this time. I mean, it's been 15 years since I've seen it.
Wow. Yeah.
So it was still like a really cool watch. Like
it was
pretty it's still really entertaining.
What's crazy to me is like I've only seen this I think one or two other times, but it's been years since I've watched this in its entirety. But the fact that I remember so many scenes from this movie because they're all so memorable, basically.
Yeah. Well, and actually, just to kind of wrap that up, because I do want to talk about this. So, like I said, Denzel ends up finding the diamond. He puts everything together. End of movie. So that's Inside Man. So on Rotten Tomatoes, it had 86 on Rotten Tomatoes. So Honto, what would you give it?
Man, I think this is like a 90 for me. This is pretty good. Yeah, this is high caliber stuff for me.
Okay, Matt, what would you give it?
I'll sit at a 90. I think a 90 is like it's pretty much there. I think it's an awesome movie. It's one of the best heist movies.
I was gonna say,
like heist plot lines. Like as far as heist plot lines, where it's like I buy this. Yeah. Where it's nothing. It doesn't seem like bullshit. It seems like it could really be done, and they could really get away with it. And
agreed.
Yeah,
I give it a 90 as well. Yeah. I don't think it's as good as Training Day. Like if I had to rank the movies we did for Denzel month, it'd be Training Day, Inside Man, and Ricochet. I think everybody would be that way. Is that right?
Ricochet.
Oh man.
No, it'd probably be probably Inside Man, Training Day, Ricochet.
That way. Okay. Matt, would you?
Training Day, Inside Man, Ricochet.
And then, but after watching all these movies, like I know Inside Man's a little more straightforward than Ricochet and Training Day is. But like after watching all these movies, like I think Denzel might be my favorite actor. Like because I watched Virtuosity and Little Things and stuff like that. And like you can even have a really bad movie and he's in it and he carries the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like his charisma and like his line delivery, and like he's an awesome actor.
Have you seen Crimson Tide?
Never saw it.
Check it out. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
especially because you got him opposite Gene Hackman. They both like them on screen together is like it's awesome. It's insane.
Okay. Have you guys ever seen Courage Under Fire?
Yep, I have.
Is that good?
I back in the 90s.
Yeah, I saw a long time ago, but that's kind of I think where Matt Damon got his start is on that movie.
Oh yeah.
It was like that School Ties, I think. So it's like, and I think he's notable in Courage Under Fire because he lost like a crazy amount of weight for it, so he's like very, very skinny.
Okay.
Movie, and it's like cool. It's crazy because it's like I think it's part of it's like I think he's dealing with like a PTSD. So they do like a lot of flashbacks current day. So you see him in the flashbacks where he's like more like in shape, and then when they cut to him in the flash forward, he's like a lot skinnier and underweight.
Oh really?
Basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But no, just going back, just kind of wrap it up with Inside Man as well, though. But like I said, even though it's a more straightforward movie to talk about, and there's not like a lot to like really like criticize in it, because like the music's awesome, the shots look great, the story unfolds, the pace is awesome, like everything is just on par. If I had to pick one thing I didn't love about it, is a little more characterization on Denzel's part. Denzel can get away with it because he's Denzel. You can give no backstory on Denzel and you'll find him as an interesting character.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they didn't do it, but he doesn't have much to like reflect on. He wants to marry his girl.
Yeah.
And that's really all you know about him. That's like really it.
Oh, what would you want to know about him?
I don't know. I don't know. You're gonna make a joke whenever I say, but like I can't think of
a joke.
Oh, that's not you.
Now we're gonna make a joke.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe because like I feel like I would say I was gonna say like with Training Day, Ethan Hawke's character, you don't really know too much about, I guess. You just know So I take back what I said maybe because even Ethan Hawke's character is so
what a waste of time.
This is where we make fun of him.
Cool. Never mind. So that's gonna wrap up Denzel month, which I think was one of our best months that we've had.
Yeah. It's one of our best months in a while.
We had a good lineup of movies this month.
We did.
I was very, very happy.
Oh yeah, even Ghost was on point.
Ghost,
which I feel like might be all of our collective's favorite movie of this podcast.
It's great.
But we have an awesome
It's rare that we all agree.
It's true. We have an awesome March coming up. We have decided that for martial arts, this is like perfect. We're like all excited about this. We're going to start off with Karate Kid, the original. And then we're going to go into The Matrix, the original. And then we're going to go to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original.
We should have done, all those movies have sequels. We should have done Karate Kid 3, Matrix Revolution, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, whatever the
Turtles in Time.
Is it what it
Dude,
is?
I hate 3. 2's. I would watch 2 again.
I remember 3 being trash. Wait, for which movie? We just named a lot of 3s. Which 3
Ninja Turtles. Sorry, Ninja Turtles 3.
Yeah, I remember nothing about that.
Yeah, a lot of views I would watch.
But so that's martial arts. I think that's gonna be another fantabulous.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have fun doing that.
Fantabulous.
But we're gonna try to continue with the themes months because it seems to be working. And Honto, me and Matt were talking yesterday, and we're almost at halfway to Halloween. So maybe a horror movie month coming up.
Yeah.
I was like, what? It's not until October. It's still a long ways off.
So we're talking about April might be a good month.
April or May.
April or May.
We did in the past before martial arts was created it wasn't created on here, but when we used to go to Horror Hound, it was in March, so we always did like the Halloween in March area. So
that might be right. Yeah,
it would make sense if we did like maybe April,
April's fine.
April is the 6th month from Halloween. So
yeah, let's do April. Are we calling it now then? April will be halfway to Halloween.
I would like to revisit some horror movies. I think it would be nice.
Yeah. Okay, we haven't watched. We've gotten to a point where we don't watch any horror movies on here except for October.
Yeah.
Well, even though we just did Silent Hill, but so it's like I was like, man, we haven't really done anything in a while.
Yeah.
What sort of trash are we going to visit this in April?
Well, I'm telling Matt.
Hold on.
An idea.
We will talk about this off the episode. Yeah. We can talk about this off the episode.
After hours.
before we start making staples of what we're going to watch.
I'm not a statement.
No, staples. Because, I don't want to pull another virtuosity where all of a sudden, hey, we're gonna
do. Hey, you know what? For the listeners and the viewers, don't be surprised. We just list the movies for martial arts. Don't be surprised if all of those just change.
They're not going to change. No,
I don't think they will.
Don't be surprised.
I don't think they will, but don't be surprised.
Anyway, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. If you have any comments or any requests, you can hit us up on Facebook. Or you can email us at
cinemacalpodcast@gmail.com.
Oh, and drop them in the comments in the YouTube.
Hit the like button on these videos. Subscribe to our YouTube channel where we're constantly posting videos. And join in on the discussion in the comments. We'll probably maybe join in.
We will.
Well, there's 3 of us.
You'll see.
Comment.
You'll see.
But thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. We hope you love listening to it. I'm Chris.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Honto.
And we'll see you next time. Okay, I'm good if you guys are.
Are you on an iPad? Do you have an iPad stand?
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm using like 4 Stephen King books. I'm not shitting you.
I totally believe you.
I think all you need is the stand and Under the Dome, and you'll be good. That should be.
Yeah, actually, I only got 3. I got Christine, It, and Dark Half.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah, It's doing most of the work.
I say it is. Is that Stephen King's novella right there?
This is what I'm using. It's The Mist.